We've reached the final section of Playing the Matrix, Playing to Win, which includes expedited delivery and having the time of your life. In expedited delivery, we're going to talk about using your thoughts, words, and deeds in playful ways independent of the matrix to create a heightened sense of anticipation and expectation, which is pure energy in motion. So, to begin, let's talk about filling in new pockets of our day. Because there are really indeed times in every life when one must simply lay low, hide out, and just chill. And usually that's called sleep. However, in between such times, by the light of the sun or a giant disco ball, I generally advocate as full a schedule as you can possibly manage. Do the hustle, the universe. P.S. It's easier to fall in love and be fallen in love with when you're busy. Then there will always be something to catch your eye. There will always be something to do, somewhere to go, going here, going there, and you can be that person. And not only will it foster a quicker manifestation, but it gives you a sense of accomplishment and a sense of purpose. And that's what attracts others to you. And you want to attract the eyes of others, like clients or students or readers or admirers. So it's time to fill in some more blanks. On page 27, we begin with thoughts. No surprise there. Visualize. It's the least you can do to get the most. Now flip over to page 28 and we'll come back here to this page in just a minute. So here are 7 guidelines for creative visualization that actually works. First, you only need to do your visualization work 1 time a day. That is all that's necessary. You don't need to do it any more than that. You just have your time, let it go, and get back to the present moment. Number 2, no longer than 5 or 10 minutes at a time. Because if you try to go longer, you'll invariably start daydreaming about, gosh, anything else. Then you get mad at yourself and you say, I'm no good at visualization. You will be tempted to say it doesn't work for me. But no, you just overdid it a bit. It does work for you, and it's easy. You've just been trying too hard. So 5 or 10 minutes is really great. These are the guidelines. These are loose, okay? They are not laws to be held in stone. You could try to visualize every morning with a timer, like a little egg timer, or as long as you're not looking at it and it's not beeping you about anything else, you could use a timer on your phone. So before you start your day or when you first get into your office for 4 minutes, and that's it until the next day. I really do recommend the timer because it helps you discipline yourself. You're not just sitting there for 4 to 14 to 24 minutes, getting angry and cursing the whole process, or wondering, wonder how much time it's been, wonder how much time it's been. Just let it be easy. Let it be simple. Imagine every conceivable detail, the sights, the sounds, the colors, the textures, the aromas. Make your visualization as vivid as possible in your mind. And then 4, don't just focus on the details, but get into its own point because it's so important. Feel the emotions of someone living the visualization that you're living. Feel the emotions during that 4 to 10 minutes. You know, get in the space of joy. Fake it. It's easy. We'll pretend and show you how in just a second. But because it's the joy, the happiness, the ultimate end result that you really want, and by putting it out there during your visualization, you're cutting straight to the chase, bypassing the cursed hows. This is where the universe gets its marching orders from you. And it's like the universe hears, ooh, you want to be happy? Okay, I'm going to change this, rearrange that. And as you show up, there will be some doozies on your path. You're going to love it. Then number 5 is to put yourself in the picture. I recommend let it be in your hands on the steering wheel of your dream car, your palm and someone else's palm as you walk along the beach. Let it be your toes in the sand. Be there in your visualization. And number 6, dwell from the end result or beyond. Meaning, do not visualize or dream about your dream coming true. Again, do not visualize your dream coming true. Visualize your life as it will be after the dream has come true. See and feel the difference in that. Go to the place where it's already done. You're already on cloud 9. Everything is super fantastically wonderful. Your priorities are now from this place. Your new challenges are now in this new place. And new dreams are being dreamed out past this new place. So this implies, woohoo, it's totally locked up. It's a done deal. You've hit a home run, as opposed to, I'm getting a little closer. It's happening. It's coming. I'm closer. Because that almost puts you into the cursed hows when you imagine the process of your dream coming true. Now, number 7 is a top secret. You've heard about it here first. Get physical during those few moments when you're visualizing. Then you are a lightning rod for the magic. So let's go back to the miraculous mechanics of manifestation and our GPS example for just a moment. Remember, first, we enter the end result or the destination into the GPS. Then you put your car in gear. Then for the matrix, we added that third step of actually playing with the matrix. Step one, know your end result, but it's vague, which gives it the potential to possibly be boring and you just can't hang your hat on it. Then we squeezed in a new step two, which is to get excited about your end results by using the details. Then, third, we're back on track with taking action, aka put your car in gear. Now, what I have found is that if I just sit and visualize, very quickly it becomes just something else I'm doing and it's become boring. It just doesn't move the needle. It's kind of like you're sitting in the driveway going vroom, 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 but you're not going anywhere versus going 100 miles an hour around a hairpin turn. Whee! So just trying to feel the emotion because that's what it's all about. So one morning I thought, I might get a little crazy here. And I realized that if I could get physical, it would work. Being physical ramps up the joy, the emotion, and that's what this is all about. So, to help you, to feel what we're talking about, here's a little note from the universe, especially chosen, that lends itself perfectly to a guided visualization. So I'm going to walk you through this guided visualization twice. The first time we're going to do it old school. I want you to sit there like a monk on a cliff. Do not get physical. And then we'll talk about it and then we'll do it again. So your assignment is during this mini guided visualization to see if you're able to muster up some emotional degree of joy sitting still like you're supposed to when you're meditating. And I'll tell you when to close your eyes. Okay, anyone watching you? Good, because this is a double secret exercise. Now close your eyes, and I want you to just pretend that you have just received a phone call with wonderful, mind blowing, life changing news. And as you put down the receiver in your mind's eye, you see your arms flying over your head with joy pumping fists, then waving palms like you just crossed a finish line. Before throngs of adoring fans, you cover your face with your hands, trying to contain the euphoria, but it doesn't work. So, in your visualization, you're reaching for the sky again, shaking your head in disbelief, and you're grinning and crying, and you're just so happy. Yes, life is awesome. You feel so grateful. Got it. Okay. Now open your eyes. And were you able to feel some degree of joy that time? Sure. It's easy. We just made it up, right? I didn't even tell you who called. Okay. Now we're going to do it again, but this time we're going to act it out. I mean, totally. Okay, get ready. Make sure you can stand up wherever you're at because it's the same drill. So close your eyes. It's the same phone call, only now you're going to act it out. Life changing news has just arrived. You put the phone to the side of your head. Your hand is holding this receiver by your head. You put the receiver down. Your arms fly over your head with joy. Woohoo! Perfect. All right. Fists pumping in the air. You cover your face with your hands, trying to contain the euphoria, but it doesn't work. Woohoo! You're grinning and crying, and you are so happy. Yes, yes, yes. Woohoo! Life is awesome, and you feel so grateful. Wow. Okay, come back here. Were you able that time to feel some degree of joy? I'm sure you were. And was it more than the last time? Probably. Have I told you yet who called? It doesn't matter. And you can give this gift to yourself every day. Take the weekends off if you want to. But that energy is not only fun. It's not only a celebration, but it goes like a thunderclap beyond the curtains of time and space, beyond where eyes can see. And it twirls and whirls and collects and gathers. And by the law, it comes rushing back into your life as a bright idea, a new best friend, as courage, confidence, clarity, pain free living, whatever your heart desires, so that you can then authentically have another one of those woohoo sessions for real. This is how emotion speeds up thoughts becoming things. Because as we know, all thoughts become things. It all comes back to you. It's the law. But it comes back as people, players, circumstances, things that automatically bring that out of you. Now, I've gone on ahead of you, and I can speak on the path that lies ahead. There will be mornings where you will be like, no, 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 I just can't do this again. Doesn't matter how you feel. I want you to set your timer for 1 minute. Just do it for 1 minute, okay? Just be woohoo! And you'll lift yourself out of the doldrums. You'll charge your total physiology. And again, that energy just keeps going. And like a boomerang, comes back as new friends, new ideas, and stuff that will authentically give you cause to celebrate. Now, another piece of advice to keep to heart. If anyone ever catches you doing this exercise, just tell them that it was your pet psychic who called, and they will forget everything they just saw. Now let's go back to the blanks on page 27. Number 2 is the way to bring about expedited delivery of your desires are words. We all know this. Choose your words wisely because they are your thoughts that will become things the soonest. It is so easy to fall into old speech patterns, especially when we are with everyday people. I'm fine. How are you? Oh, I have to do this and I have to do that. I'm so busy. The truth is, you don't have to go here and you never have to go there. You don't actually have to do a single thing. We get to. It is a privilege. It is gravy. And all of it is to be celebrated. So, in your chosen words that you speak to friends on the phone or wherever you may be, let there be this recognition and celebration, even. You know, I get it. I get it. I got to create this video for you today. I get to go into the office today. I get to go run errands. Who will I meet? All of it is so good. And when we just make this tiny little switch, not only do we feel better about it, but it's energy that goes out and comes back, giving us more cause and more reasons to celebrate. I've trained myself that when someone asks, "How are you?" I go, "I am perfect." 99% of the time, that's exactly how I feel. Now, I was just wondering, what do you think rich folk daydream and talk about? Yeah, whatever they want. And what do you think poor folk daydream and talk about? Yeah, whatever they want. You're coming along so quickly, the universe. Now, I want to be really, really clear here. All of my life examples can be switched out to relationships, to clarity, to career. We talk a lot about money, but that's not all that this is about. Sometimes people point out that there are a lot of examples about money, and we aren't here to hear about money. But this is really mix and match. What do you think happy, fulfilled, successful people daydream and talk about? Yes, whatever they want. And what do we think sad, lonely, depressed people daydream and talk about? Whatever they want. Who here doesn't get to think or daydream or speak about whatever it is you want all day long? No one doesn't get to do that. We all do. But many of us don't realize the potency of the words we choose until now. Some of us are waking up and realizing that our words are more than just words. They create our lives. Which takes us now to number 3, action. Pretending changes everything. Now, we talked about taking action as step 3 of playing the matrix, of moving in the general direction of our dreams to the best of our ability. This action is totally different. Now we're talking about token acts of faith, token demonstrations, if you will. So let's look at the exercise on page 29. And I'm going to fill in this list with some examples so you get an idea of what we're talking about. But on the left-hand side is prepare the way, and on the right-hand side is acting as if. Preparing the way for the inevitable arrival of your dream. So, if you were ordering furniture tonight and they said, "Oh, great, it'll be delivered Thursday at 2 p.m." What would you be doing between ordering the furniture and Thursday at 2 p.m.? You'd be moving the old stuff out, buying new throw pillows or carpets that will match the new furniture. You will be preparing, physically preparing for its inevitable arrival. You wouldn't go home and worry and stew. What if it doesn't show up? What if they're late? What if I don't believe in myself enough to have this new furniture? No, it is coming. Okay? It's the same with any order you might place with the universe right now. It's coming. Don't worry about it. And even if you worry about it, you can't stop it. It's coming. So, what can you do now to physically prepare for the inevitable arrival of your life's transformation? Maybe you really want furniture that hypothetically you can't afford right now. I bet you could afford the throw pillow or the throw rug that would match this new furniture. You can start acting like you know the furniture's coming. You can rearrange, as point two says, the furniture of your life. Whether it's friends, whether it's where you live, whether it's preparing for a new career, act as if you knew all of the circumstances were changing. Token physical actions is the key. Physical demonstrations actually speak louder than words and louder than thoughts because they are really your thoughts animated, your thoughts you've made live. So it's still thoughts becoming things. But because you're animating them, it's seen by your inner witness, if you will. And now, this is tip three on killing those invisible limiting beliefs without even knowing what they are specifically that would otherwise hold you back. Because now, when an old doubt comes calling, your inner witness, your soul, the universe says, no, that can't be true anymore because I see you acting on this as opposed to this thought of I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, what if I haven't done enough? No, 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 no. You're acting worthy. You're moving in that direction. You're window shopping, preparing the day. You're good to go. Now, I encourage you to either jot these suggestions down and fill in the blanks or think of your own because this list, physically written out, gives you inspiration for what you're going to do this week, where you're going to go so that you are more likely actually do the demonstrations on the right side of the screen. Now, there's a slight difference. The line blurs between acting as if instead of preparing for the inevitable arrival. You're now acting as if it's already shown up. Remember in our visualization, you're already living that life. So I challenge all of you to take on some or all of these demonstrations based on the details you've chosen. So, planning for more friends? Have a dinner party. Have a celebration with friends who are like minded. Together, act as if, speak as if your life and their life is now in a whole new orbit. This is one of my favorite tricks that Mike shares from back when he and his mom and his brother Andy, they had that t-shirt business. Every Tuesday morning, they'd leave the office and go away from where they worked to a diner for breakfast. And they'd share books that they had read that were thrilling them, ideas that had just inspired them, and they would launch into, hey, my new home in Oahu is almost finished. And it would be, if it's already really happened. Now, Mike wasn't even remotely happening, but the new home was almost done, right? And so he would say to his mom and his brother, "You guys have got to see the waterfall through the master bedroom. It came out perfectly. And mom, I think you're going to be done filming Dandelion, that animated feature film with Spielberg, right? Just about the time my contractor is promising me I can move in. So I'm going to have you come over and we'll celebrate with a housewarming in my new home in Oahu on the windward side of the island. And Andy, I think you're going to be in Paris about then, right? I'm going to send you my private jet because I want you to be with me and mom celebrating this." And of course, Andy's very quick. So he'd be like, "Hey, thanks, Mike, but I have a whole entourage now, and your jet is just too small." And then it would be his turn, and he would talk about whatever it is he was doing as if he was really doing it. This forces you to get into the mindset of what else is possible. How good can it get? You know, how is this going to affect other people in your life? And you talk about not only your dreams, but each other's dreams. And Mike said he'd be on the edge of his chair, like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe I need two waterfalls." And then it would be his mom's turn and do it with a straight face. You'll be taken transported into this future world, this end result, as if it were real and playful. And it's so much fun to do this. And then things start to happen. Mike shared that he got an email from the family assistant to Anthony Hopkins, the famous actor. Stella, Anthony's wife, wanted to chat. Oh, she's like, "Mike, Anthony does all of these doodles on the back lot between shots. Anthony Hopkins does doodles in the back lot between takes. Well, he's quite the artist and he's a composer. But I want to start a t shirt company with his doodles. We just read and love The Secret, and we saw your bio in the back where you sold 1 million t shirts. Mike, do you have any experience with the Japanese market?" Mike's like, you bet I did. A lot. So I said, "Yeah, Stella, I have a lot. Now it's been a couple years, but I have friends that still import and blah, 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 blah." And she put him on hold and came back and said, "Mike, Anthony would love to meet you. The next time you're in LA, you're invited to our home for dinner." So it's like, I gotta call somebody, right? So he called his brother Andy and says, "Andy, you're never gonna believe who just invited me to dinner at their house, Anthony Hopkins." And Andy's like, "Wow. Oh, Mike, that is really, really cool. That's awesome. That is so cool. What are you doing?" Mike says, I'm like, "I'm writing." And he said, "Well, you're late." For what?" "The barbecue. Get over here. Jay-Z and Beyonce just showed up." And I started laughing and I had to share with Andy. "No, no, no, Andy. This is really real, real, real for reals." Oh my goodness. Playing make believe is the fastest way to believing. And believing is the fastest way to receiving, which is what this whole chart is all about. So I have several colleagues that I play this game with over the years, and it has been so much fun. And the last point I want to talk to you about is another favorite. It is writing a letter telling of your recent successes to a long lost friend or family member as if these successes were real. This is one that I do when I'm really excited and really optimistic, or when I'm feeling really beaten down and I'm like, dear universe, etc., etc., etc. I like this one so much that we've given you a template on page 30 so that you can do this later. So the exercise is to write a 4-part letter telling of your recent successes. So part 1 is a paragraph or a page to reacquaint. So going along with our funny little examples here. Hi, Roxy. How are you? And Trigger. Have you been sailing really? Lately? I miss our nights out. Then part 2 is a paragraph on a dream that has just come true. Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? Do you remember my invention, the kitty leg warmers? Yeah, the ones that Mike Dooley thought, I don't see that going anywhere. Well, Donald Trump just bought the patent and he paid me $7 million. He also asked me out, but I had to fire him. Now, this part of the exercise, in and of itself, I highly recommend making this paragraph or page to really get the imagination firing. Then in part 3, you write about why this time achieving your dream was so easy. Because this is going to transport you to a place where the dream has already happened. And now you are rationalizing why it worked. This is kind of sort of like reverse worrying. Instead of rationalizing why something might not work, you remember all of our what ifs? Now you're sharing why it was a soaring, roaring success. So to continue with our example, ever since I learned to play the Matrix, my life has been easy. I think it also helped that I learned to knit, plus going to the gym, joining Toastmasters, and finishing high school. I've realized I am a natural born entrepreneur. And oh, yeah, the universe goes with me everywhere. You see, this forward projecting helps counter negative energy. So write down all the reasons everything is working out so well. Now, how can you speak of yourself as if you've never spoken of yourself before? It'll take a little twitching to do it the first time. I totally get that. You'll be like, but go ahead and do it. And then it gets easier. And then you can raise the bar and then you can act it out. Then you use all of the other tricks and tactics you've learned in this program and you become unstoppable. This is leveraging the universe and engaging the magic. Let that be one of your line items in your letter. I'm not alone. I'm loved. I'm adored. I'm pushed into greatness because you came here to succeed. Default settings are thriving. So put that on your list and see how easy it will be to be overlooked that, to think you're alone. We do it all the time. We take too much for granted, which has blinded us to all the miracles that exist. And finally, part 4, what will you do next with your amazing life? Our silly example? Anyway, I'm writing you from Milan. Candy and I just did Italy. We met some guy named Bruno. What a mess. When I get home, I'm going to redecorate and buy a car. Love, Bambi. P.S. Did you see my pic from Sam Propay play on TMZ? Suddenly I am so photogenic. Now, why do we want to do all of this? Because it's time you learn the truth. Actually, you should have been told this long ago. You see, there was a kind of a mix-up. Things like this are never easy, but, well, to be direct as possible, the truth is you're not human. Of course, you probably just think I'm being cute, but the truth is that you are not human. Not even a little. Not one speck. Now, before you go all ape, realize there's a bright side to everything. And in this case, it's blinding. If you are not human, you no longer have to behave as one. Tally-ho, the universe. So what does it mean when we say you do not have to behave like you're human? You no longer have to be so careful and predictable all the time and figure it all out and have it all written down. You get to get a little crazy. Drive the long way to work. Get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Stay up until 4 o'clock in the morning. Shake the cage. Show the universe. This time it's different. I'm different. I am not the same. And the floodgates will begin to tumble. Now, here are some more fun exercises. We have these all listed on page 27. And I'm about to give you some short explanations. Show them, shift them up, play and explore, and find one that turns your frequency up. The first one is write a blueprint for your life. Like an architect's blueprint. Script it out. Your intended epic ending. It gives you hope. It's a tentative draft and is subject to repeated revisions. You are not boxing yourself in or the universe into a corner. You're simply putting it down. So go big, go broad, and then add, unattached of course, juicy details. Now, I love the what if up game from Abraham. What if I am a well-connected, like-minded person? What if I love my life to distraction? What if I'm a world-renowned leader, role model, epitome of what I teach? What if I'm the ultimate life adventurer, enjoying abundance and harmony? With meta health and mental capacities ever improving, radiant, vibrant, lovely, blah, 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 blah. You know. So you may not feel you are any of the things that you write yet. That's the point. Your future rehearsing. And it makes you feel good. And the truth is, you are all of those things. We all are. The truth is, you're abundant, you're wealthy, you're healthy, you're eternal. You're all the things of the divine. And when you slip up and say things like, I am so stupid, I'm an idiot, I'm dumb, I'm broke, I'm poor, I'm overweight, I'm underweight, these may be steps on the path, but those aren't who you are. You can feel how your body got heavy because these are lies. If you characterize your entire being by the truth that you are rich, you are happy, you're healthy, you're gorgeous, you're powerful, and you will be forevermore, you will live into those feelings. So make these bold statements, no matter what today is showing you, because that's irrelevant. That's temporary. The second, go crazy and have fun, is write a letter to the universe. Now, the trick of this letter is that you are giving profuse gratitude for what is about to happen in the next 4 months into the future. So, just for fun, let's pretend that it's May the 3rd when you begin writing. Dear universe, I can hardly believe that it's already May 3rd. I can't believe what has happened since then. Now pretend it's 4 months in the future. And from that vantage point, what are you excited about? Like, wow, I get it now. It was so worth it. My life rocks. Thanks for everything. I now see better than ever that this is what I had to focus on. These end results, turning over the details to you, whew, this is what I will teach to all who will listen. Thank you for my new TV and my new furniture, my cold AC, the flowers and the projects I have going on in my yard, my vacations. I have never been this happy, healthy, or rich before. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then sign it with the date 4 months out from May the 3rd. Another suggestion is to write letters and checks to yourself from your admirers, your friends, your customers. For those of us in business, write a testimonial from your favorite 5-star client, the one that's coming in the future, or shall we say, the one that's here in the future. Write this testimonial, what they love about you and the work that you do together. Write a deposit slip for the amount of your new client, whatever they're investing in your program and your services and your product. Write a deposit slip to put in the bank for whatever it is they're paying you. These will all be ways to pre-pave the way for what you desire to arrive. Because when you believe it, you will see it. Another fun one is to digitally modify images and photos. Mike adjusted the cover for his infinite possibilities to reflect what his epic end results would be. His new book was going to be, woohoo, New York Times bestseller, 52 weeks, 7 million copies sold. Oprah and Larry King live, 25 languages. And for fun, Mike Dooley for president. Now, I know there's a couple of us who are here in this live round who are writing books. Mock up your cover and mark it up with how it's going to be when it is that #1 bestseller. Now, this is fun stuff, okay? No, Infinite Possibilities still, to this day, hasn't sold 7 million copies yet. But it wasn't the only stick he had in the fire. So again, have a lot of things going to take the pressure off of any one of them. And you can take any photo and manipulate it by adding yourself into a visual image of what it is you desire. Number 5 is fill in a mock calendar. This can be fun. You can print off blank calendars with Abandon now. Or if you're tech savvy, you can create a mock Google Calendar and fill it in. And then when you are visualizing, just turn it on to overlay it onto your current calendar to feel what life will be like when it's full. So, what do you want to experience? Where do you want to go? What do you want to visit? And with whom? Get it down before the space fills up with unimportant things. Next, have pretend talks with friends and family. We talked about this earlier, of course. And they will need to be in on the game to play along. But it is very powerful and fun to play that pretend game of what if up. And last but not least, where we started, create scrapbooks and vision boards to ignite your imagination and your inspiration. Now, you don't have to do any of this wacky stuff, nor do you have to wear matching clothes, sleep enough each night, brush your teeth, bathe regularly, chew food with your mouth closed, speak in complete sentences, use proper grammar, run spell check, zip up your fly, or pay your bills on time. But wouldn't you be mortified if anyone found out you didn't do that stuff? I know I would. Tally ho, the universe. And we're going to now slide into home base here with what I promised at the beginning of this entire program would be the shortest section. It's the time of your life. Kicked off with a note from our sponsor, the universe. The one thing that all famous storytellers, world-class athletes, business tycoons, singers, actors, and celebrated achievers in any field have in common is that they all began their journeys when they were none of these things. Yet still, they began their journeys. And so can anyone. You are so poised for greatness. P.S. One day, they're going to name something big after you, like a statue or a college or a hurricane. Let's summarize the key lessons we talked about, a few that we can't hear enough of. So we're going to fill in the blanks one more time on page 31. Number one, this is it. It's as good as it gets. You will never be as young as you are today. And if you've never heard that before and you're younger than 40, you're like, oh, wow, that's true. And whether or not you've heard it before and you're not younger than 40, you're like me, oh my God, that's true. The point is, if you understood what I'm saying to you throughout this entire program, if you could wish for one thing and only one thing, I know what it would be. Because there's only one thing that makes any sense. You would wish for things to be exactly as they now are in a world where your thoughts become things. Your words give you wings. You're pushed on to greatness. All things are possible. You are an eternal being of life. Does it get any better than that? It doesn't get any better than today. Notwithstanding chickenpox, cheating girlfriends, or whatever, in part, it's so awesome because those very things, those challenges that you are now wrangling with that are keeping you up at night, they are what creates your awesome life. You're going to get past them. And all of a sudden, you'll be in an orbit you didn't even know existed before the challenge arose. And so don't be like one of those people who looks at a picture of yourself tomorrow and says, oh, I don't like this. I don't like that. And then 3 years from now, you're like, oh man, I was hot back then. You know what I'm talking about. You've seen those pictures. No, you're hot now. Don't tear yourself down. Don't be critical of yourself and where you are. Give yourself every benefit of the doubt. Cut yourself some slack. The divine does. The divine's still happy. The divine is still choosing to be you amongst infinite numbers of other choices. And so we can just relish that life is fleeting anyway. In the blink of an eye, you're going to be back in the pond of the universe, absolutely giddy from this dream that you had, being who you are now, while you're laying in a hammock there, being swayed by your friends. And then you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, oh, that was so real. I thought I was here and I thought I was there. I thought I could do this and I thought I couldn't do that. Let's go back and do it again. And I'll remind you and remind me and we'll just live in this opulent, beautiful, abundant paradise that we now call Earth. And number two, practice the art of selfish service. There are so many who have a skewed idea about service. Our societal upbringing gives the false impression that service means sacrifice, always putting others ahead of yourself. Selfless service is a whole new way of choosing to look at service. You offer service because you want to. Provide service because you know you're going to make a difference that will ripple out into eternity forever. So once you've taken care of things at home, experiment with this idea of random acts of kindness or surprising people and remaining anonymous. It is really fun. Number three, remember that where you are is never who you are. Today is just a step on the path. It is not your identity. So if you're ever at a low ebb, remind yourself that you're infinitely more than what is now happening to you. Inevitably, all is well. Number four, if you want change, if you want anything, remember the matrix. Play with it. Doesn't mean you have to carry one around with you in your back pocket. But to rephrase what I've most wanted to relate to you throughout this program, beyond getting clear on the ground rules that we spoke about in Module 1, Understanding Miracles, I want you to keep doing what you've been doing with regard to positive thinking, creative visualization, engaging with the law of attraction. Call it what you like, but simply realize you will never be assured of success if you hinge your star on a specific other person, place, or thing behaving exactly as you anticipate. It is incredibly hard to succeed until you change this insistence and come to realize that when you're blinded by your physical senses to all else that exists beyond what you currently see as the way it has to happen, you cannot know how your dreams will come true. Not even the universe knows how your dream will come true because it is ever expanding and responding to you. And there are literally infinite possibilities available until you lock in on the one and only way. So remain open. Don't mess with, attempt to wrangle, or become attached to how it'll happen. Because the minute you do that, you slam shut the door on all the other possibilities. And lastly, similarly, the matrix is all about not attaching to unimportant details because, as we remember, all details are unimportant. Yet insisting on one might come at the expense of an even better one. That's what the matrix is all about in a nutshell. This is what I most hope you take away with you. And number 5, the secret to living the life of your dreams is to indulge now to any degree you can. And to that end, the final exercise for you to do at home is found on page 32. What would you do that you could do now that you aren't doing? Let's say that again. What would you like to do that you could do now that you aren't doing? Let's do it. Now, there's a plethora of ideas on page 32 for your pleasure. On this slide are just a few suggestions. Now, it's important to remember that these are not meant to be bucket list items. A bucket list is made up of things you cannot do now, but you dream of doing someday before you move on back to the big pond in the universe. This is different. These are things that you could do now, but for some strange, elusive, mysterious reason, they're not on your calendar. Why would that be? If you could do them now, why would that be? If you've always said, one day I would like to, are you waiting to pay off something? Are you waiting to meet somebody? Perhaps you'll meet them once you get these things going. Perhaps you'll come into your abundance once you get out and start indulging in your dreams now to whatever degree you can. Not only will you enjoy it, but you'll set the stage for future expansion and more dreams coming true. So I want you to turn now on page 32, and you're going to list 4 things that you'll begin indulging in now to prime the pump, so to speak. So go ahead, pause the training, choose your 4 things. I will wait for you here. Welcome back. How fun was that? Or how hard was it to come up with 4 things that would delight you, that you could do to some degree, but keep putting it off? You deserve a wonderful life, and it's up to you to call it in. So going back now to page 31, number 6 is to learn to be happy. And you insert whatever word you're using to describe your ultimate end result, but you want to learn to be that today. Even as you reach and stretch to become more than who you have ever been before. Don't let your desire for change, which every human has, keep you from enjoying life now. This wanting more is innate to the human nature. It is spirit alive in you. This divine sense of there is more will never go away. You are not going to shake it. You will know you get all this when you realize that it's not going away. That it's simply how the universe, through you, expands. And you can learn to be content in spite of this yearning. As opposed to thinking, well, once I feel a little better about myself and I have a nicer house, a more profitable business, lose weight, do all the other things on my list, then I'm going to fully love and appreciate who I am and love my life. Then I can give myself permission to be happy. No, no permission needs to be granted by yourself or anyone else. There is nothing to wait to happen. This is simply your greater self calling. And it's your celebration in this dance that you're now dancing. So allow yourself to be happy or content now, and it will facilitate an even faster manifestation of the dreams you've been counting on to make you content. One of my favorite Abraham quotes that I have embellished, and I use it as a personal mantra, is I am blissfully content where I am in this moment and ecstatically eager for what is coming. I distinctly remember the conversation we were having together. We were having triple chocolate brownie footsicles, listening to Beethoven's Fifth before he was even Beethoven, overlooking the galaxy. When you mentioned how neat you thought it would be to one day have dreams that you didn't know that you would inevitably manifest, to have challenges that you didn't know you would inevitably conquer, and to have friends you didn't know you'd inevitably meet. Now, this sounds strange, but this is exactly the nature of our choice to be here in the hallowed jungles of time and space, where really and truly all is supremely well. We're absolutely safe, snoring away in a hammock far, far away, projecting ourselves into these illusions where we think we are this gal, living this life, having these problems, etc., etc. And all of that leads you to believe in the white lies that make the adventure possible. Like, we have to make everything work ourselves. So it appears they aren't there, must be something wrong with us. If things are going wrong, it's got to be us. Feeling we don't have this and we don't have that, or feeling I'm just stuck when I want to be over there, I'm stuck here, and on and on. But this is what we planned. Because if you have not and you want to have, it spurs you on. You're moving through the affairs of your life. You're falling in love. You're being loved. This is why you're here. This is the very nature of your choice. Because the truth is, you have it all. You've been it all. You're everywhere, always at once, loving being here and adventuring in the jungles of time and space. The universe continues, and I lean forward in total awe, all agog, wanting to learn more of your genius and your courage. I almost fainted when you added, and should it ever appear as if I could use your help before I even begin helping myself, back off, or you'll ruin everything. Woohoo! You memory maker, you. The universe. On page 34 is an invitation to receive free, personalized daily notes from the universe. I love receiving these daily reminders of what is really going on here in the jungles of space and time. So if you don't currently receive them, I invite you to use that link and get them. And it has been my incredible joy to bring this training to you as we navigate the adventure together. And remember, this was you and I. Before this odyssey ever began, there was you, your best friends, and wide eyed curiosity among you about who would be the first to leap, the first to forget, the first to kiss, the first to tell, the first to fall, the first to get back up, and the first to remember that it all began with a dare to love in spite of it all. Is that you, Matilda? P.S. I remember the glint in your eyes, all three of them. Many blessings to you as we play the Matrix like the champion you are.